We are live, sir.
Let me welcome all the stakeholders who are our students, faculty members, staff, and leaders of the higher educational institutions. I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you. I have with me all the officials who look after different bureaus of UGC. They are present with me on this platform. This is the first time that the UGC officials are meeting the stakeholders using this digital platform. We feel it an honor and privilege that we are able to talk to you through this medium. Friends who are watching this program, I would like to thank you for sending so many questions on our Twitter platform. We have collected all those questions and we will try to answer them as much as possible. And if to some of the queries, if we do not have the answer immediately, we will definitely find the answer and come back to you. We will have these kind of interactions once in a while, maybe once in 2 months, so that if you have any feedback, we can receive that feedback. And if you have queries, we can answer those queries. What I will do is I will read out the questions, relevant questions, and my colleagues who are on this platform will provide the answer to those queries. We will, of course, pick up those questions which have wider audience. We will not pick up questions which are of individual nature, which are of personal nature, which are in the form of individual grievances, because for individual grievances, UGC has a very robust mechanism of receiving the grievances or complaints, and then we work upon them immediately and try to resolve those issues with the help of the educational institutions. So we will take questions which have much more broader significance to the entire student community and the academic community. So one of the questions that I would like to read out is that, why is that the higher educational institutions are not filling up their vacancies? Why not we have a centralized vacancy system? Friends, you know that in all the central universities, we have close to about 35% faculty vacancies. And we are in touch with the vice chancellors. And in many universities, frequently they advertise these vacancies. And faculty recruitment is a lengthy process. From the time we advertise from the end to the time that we conduct the interviews, it may take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. And many universities are doing the faculty recruitments. And you know that there are several categories of universities. You have central universities, you have the state universities, state-funded government universities, and then you have private universities which have been established through an act of the state legislature, and you have deemed to be universities. So when it comes to the faculty vacancy filling, it is the state universities in consultation with the state governments, they try to fill it up. But please be assured that from time to time, we sensitize them about filling up the vacancies. I also would like to inform you that UGC is working on a centralized portal where all the prospective candidates who are looking for a faculty position in central universities can register on this portal. And each university will have its account on this portal. Whenever faculty positions are announced, they will appear on this centralized portal, and the prospective candidate can choose a position from each of these universities where he or she is eligible, and then opt to apply. So from the database, automatically, your application form will go to that university or to several universities where you have applied. And there is no need for you to apply separately. Just one registration and filling the application once will be sufficient. And then the university will log in and collect all these applications, and then they will go through a shortlisting process and the selection process. And all the central universities will post their advertisements on this central portal. And all the registered candidates will get an auto email whenever whenever positions are announced by any university on this portal. So we hope that once this portal becomes functional, and we are working on it, I'm sure the prospective candidates who are looking for faculty positions in the central universities will be immensely benefited. And there is another question. How much UGC is serious in looking into the matters of academic performance of any college or university? You see, there are different ways in which we look at the academic standards of universities and colleges. One is the NAAC accreditation. We are encouraging all the universities and the colleges to go through the NAAC accreditation. And NAAC accreditation cycle is for 5 years. And once they go through the NAAC accreditation, that means the education that is offered in these colleges and universities is of certain standard, and this standard is measured against the global standards. And many universities and colleges are coming for the NAAC accreditation. And the second one, of course, is through self-declaration. Many of the universities and colleges, they are required to post on their website the information related to their faculty, their admission process, and several other things which are of public interest. And UGC also looks into issues whenever we receive a complaint from the stakeholders. So there are multiple ways in which UGC looks into the matters of standardization and maintaining the standards in the educational institutions. So if any one of you come across any issue which is related to a university or a college, and you think that that should not have been done, please do bring it to the notice of UGC, and we will definitely look into it. So let me go into one question which is repeatedly asked by students. This is about, let's say students have passed their degree in 2013 or 14 or earlier, but then the university is not giving the degrees. Why is it happening so? Well, it is quite possible that in such cases, perhaps the programs were not approved by UGC. And that is why the university is not able to give degrees. So there are issues such as this, where some universities might have started programs without the approval of the UGC. And therefore, we also write to such universities whenever we come to know that there are unrecognized programs that the university is running or the college is running. We write to them to stop such programs. Whenever you want to do a degree program, please look at the UGC website. UGC website also puts a list of all the colleges and universities that have been recognized by the UGC. And it also puts out a list of all the fake universities. So my request, and on behalf of my colleagues, is that before you apply to a college, or if you have any doubt about a college or a university, please do check the information which is posted on the UGC website. To such universities, whenever we come to know that the next question, why there is no timely release of JRF and other fellowships by UGC. And this is not happening for the first time. Well, this is a very important question. At UGC, including my officers, we are all concerned on the fact that the fellowships should be released on time, and they should be dispersed to the students without any difficulty. So we are working with the universities wherever these fellowships are given, and we are working on making our existing scholarship portal very robust and student friendly. Myself and my officers, we sat with the bank, Canara Bank, which disperses these scholarships, and we are redesigning the website so that there is no delay in the dispersing of the scholarships to the students. And also, the portal will have the facility for the student to track where the scholarship process is moving. Is it at the supervisor level? Is it at the HOD level or the dean of the school level? Or is it at the registrar level where it got stuck? Or is it at the level of the nodal officer who handles all the scholarships and sends them through online means to UGC for final verification and approval? So the student can see on this portal and then send a reminder to the person who is not moving your file forward. And if you still have a problem, of course, you can always contact UGC and we will look into those issues. In fact, this website is not yet completely finalized, because next week or so, we are inviting about 40 students from across the country, 40 PhD students from across the country. And myself and my officials will meet these students through online meeting platform and make a presentation on this scholarship portal, take inputs from these PhD students, research scholars, and incorporate if there are some useful and good suggestions, and make this portal as friendly as possible. And we hope to announce this website as soon as possible, maybe in another week or two. This should happen. And once this happens, your scholarship dispersal should happen without any delays. In fact, I'm taking a personal interest and talking to my officers to make sure that the scholarships are dispersed in a timely manner. So now there is another question which is about the CUET for postgraduate programs. Friends, you know that the CUET program for the undergraduate programs that we have announced has become very popular across the country. There is a positive receipt of this. People have received it in a very positive way. And as of today, more than 10 lakh applications have been received for CUET UG. And for CUET PG, the announcement will be made very soon. So please be patient for a few days, and we will make the announcement for this CUET PG also for all the central universities. There is a question about the student grievance redressal cell that deals with only certain specific matters and violations. The mechanism to report other kinds of violations where institutions have not given correct information about the facilities provided, or if there is any discrimination, or if there are issues related to lack of infrastructure and so on. We do have, for example, on issues related to sexual harassment or on issues related to psychological stress. We have 24/7 grievance redressal cell. We do receive many calls and we follow it up. But internally, we are also working on integrating all these grievance redressal systems within the UGC so that the students can get their grievances redressed in an efficient manner. What I will do is I will request our joint secretary who is working on this. Let me see if she is there.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Dr. Sunita Sivaj this side.
Sunita Sivaj, could you please briefly tell us what we are doing on that?
Yes, sir. Basically, right now, we do have 5-6 helpline and portals for students, and we are getting separate kind of questions and repeated questions. So now what we have decided, there would be a single helpline that would be for 24/7. Right now, we have only one contact which is working for 24/7, that is for anti-ragging. But now for all the grievances, there would be a general helpline that would be for 24/7, and that would not be even for students. That would be available for teachers, non-teaching staff, even general public for suggestions and feedback. But we are thinking maybe in a month or so, it would be ready for public, sir. And we're looking forward all the feedbacks from students, and so that we can improve ourselves better.
Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Very nice. So as you said, all kinds of grievances. It could be scholarship, it could be sexual harassment, it could be something related to salaries, pension payment, any kind of grievance you can bring to our notice and we will try to resolve. So let me look into another question. Well, it's a very interesting question. 40 minutes of viva-voce in a PhD examination. Can 6 years of work be explained in 40 minutes to earn your PhD? You see, when a PhD scholar works for about 5 or 6 years and makes a submission of the PhD thesis, the PhD thesis goes to 2 external examiners. And the external examiners very carefully examine it. And then if they have queries, they will ask for minor revisions, major revisions. And then the student is supposed to answer those questions during the PhD viva and also give a written answer to each question that the PhD examiner raises. And the purpose of the viva is to defend your work. That's why it is called PhD defense. 10 minutes, the examining committee, the viva-voce committee can always give 10 minutes. So, and this process has been going on for decades, and not just only here, across the globe also, the viva-voce time is about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And within that time, you should be able to explain. And then there is one question about please increase the age limit to join UGC CSIR NET or UGC NET. Currently, the age limit is 30 years. In CSIR NET, it is 28 years. This is a question I am seeing for the first time. I was not aware that there is an age difference for UGC NET and the UGC CSIR NET. We will look into it. I cannot promise immediately that we will change the age limit. There must have been some reasons why these age limits were chosen. I will discuss with my officers and see what can be done as far as the age limit is concerned. Right, there is, I'm just looking at questions. Right, so there is a question. There is a question related to tenure track system of faculty recruitment in all universities and colleges. Let faculties be engaged in teaching research activities. research associated with industry work, and so on. You know, a lot of our very experienced faculty members, they retire from the universities and colleges. And it is important that we take advantage of their experience and knowledge. And that's the reason why universities can appoint them as visiting faculty on short-term duration, or they can invite them to give lectures in the universities. This provision is already there. And soon we are also going to announce a research scheme for superannuated faculty members, meaning that they will be given certain fund and they can associate with a university, not necessarily the university from which they have retired. They can even associate with another university where they might have settled down after shifting to their place. They can associate with them, work on this project and mentor the young faculty, continue to participate in teaching activities in those universities, of course, with the approval of the university process. So we would definitely like to see our experienced retired faculty to be associated with our universities and colleges. Right. So there is an interesting question about why there are so many ranking systems such as NAC, NIRF, and ARIIA. It's all becoming very, very confusing. Why not we have one single ranking system? You know, just for your information, NAC is not a ranking system. NAC, it assesses the university functioning based on the infrastructure that is available, teacher-student ratio, library facilities, and other extracurricular activities that are available to the students. So in a very holistic way, NAC assesses the universities and colleges, and then it gives a grade on a scale of 0 to 4. So NAC is not grading. And you know that there are global ranking systems such as Times Higher Education ranking, QS ranking, and so on. But the problem with those ranking systems is that they give too much of weightage for perception. For example, 40% weightage for perception from peers and 10% weightage for the employers who employ these students. And many of the questions may not be really relevant from the point of our Indian educational institutions. For example, the kind of the reservation policy that we have in our universities, in our educational institutions, right? Many of the Western universities do not have. And it is this reservation policy which empowers so many of our students coming from different backgrounds to acquire high quality education. So there are many such things which the global ranking systems do not really give any weightage. And that's the reason why in 2016, for the first time, we started looking at a framework using parameters which are relevant to our Indian institutions. Can we have a framework? So that is how the National Institutional Ranking Framework has come. And it is evolving every year. We are also creating more categories of ranking within the NIRF, because universities and colleges will be on board on CUET, so that we will have one single entrance examination. And in fact, that is what our national education policy emphasizes. There are, of course, different disciplines. You have social sciences, you have sciences, you have languages, you have engineering, you have management, you have medicine. So there are individual cases, but I will generalize this. For example, there is a question saying that my supervisor is not cooperating with me and my PhD is getting delayed. And there is a question which says that, my university is not providing me fellowships. So what shall I do? And there is one question which says, I have not completed one course only, which is a requirement for my PhD work, but I'm not able to go forward because of that. What shall I do? You see, UGC has instructed, UGC has the guidelines on grievance redressal system. For example, when I was in JNU, we informed all the schools to make sure that at a school level, there is a student grievance redressal system. And then at the university level, headed by a rector, there is a student grievance redressal system. So first, if you have any such individual problems, because there can be a lot of specific problems. So therefore, I'm not taking up any specific issues. If you have any specific problems like that related to your PhD coursework or your YVC or your PhD submission and so on, the first thing I would say is that you send a representation to your grievance redressal committee. If such a committee is not there, talk to the HOD, talk to the dean of your school or the department. And if your problem is not resolved, talk to the proctor or a pro-vice chancellor of your university, or even talk to your vice chancellor. See, we are all here to help you. In fact, before I came to UGC, I was the vice chancellor at JNU. We used to have one afternoon every month. Appeal to you is that be accessible to your students, faculty members, staff members. Just go around, take a casual walk in your campus, walk into a lab, talk to the students there. We need to be available to our students and look into their grievances. And if you don't have any student grievance redressal system in your university, please take it as a top priority and formulate these grievance redressal committees so that students will not suffer. Right. So let me. So there is a student who has given their grievance ID. Apparently, he has sent this grievance to UGC, and please try to resolve it as soon as possible. We will definitely look into it. Thank you for reminding us. If there is a delay with respect to this grievance, I will request my officer to look into this. Right. This question is about the minimum standards for MPhil and PhD. 2016, we issued a Gazette notification in 2019. And there's a new draft that we put it out for the stakeholder feedback. And lots of feedback has come on this new PhD regulations. We are trying to incorporate those regulations. Soon we will announce these regulations. Now there is another question. There is a question about a student taking admission in a university, but then withdrawing from the program within the stipulated time, but the student did not get the refund of the fees paid. Of course, the university may have a policy of returning these fees that the student pays if the student withdraws within certain deadline. But if you have crossed the deadline, perhaps that's the reason why the university has not refunded. But if you have withdrawn from the program within the deadline given by the university, but you are not getting the refund, you can send us this grievance. Let me see if one of our joint secretaries can address this issue in a general way. What happens if a student has paid the tuition fee to a university or a college, but before the deadline withdraws from this college and wishes to join in some other place? What is the procedure? Is the college and university supposed to return the tuition fee? And if they don't return, from UGC side, what can we do? So I would like to request one of the joint secretaries who handles this to answer this.
Sir, good afternoon. I am Dr. Suren Singh, sir. And UGC has already issued guidelines, and while issued during COVID period also, while issuing the academic calendar, we have issued very specifically that those who have taken admission during a certain time and withdrawn during certain time by December 21st. So university can at best deduct maximum 1,000 rupees, and various timelines are there within which university is supposed to refund the entire amount. But as soon as such cases come to our light, we take up the matter with the university, and in most cases the university comply. And in some cases where university has not followed and the guidelines, then we take up the matter with the state universities. In all such cases, we are regularly taking up as and when they are coming to our notice. And if such cases are there, kindly students or parents can write to us and we will take up. Thank you.
Yes. So if any one of you have this problem, our officer, Dr. Surender Singh, has assured you that you can write to us and we will take up those issues. There is a question about the age limit of 35 years for assistant professor position. The questioner says, if you want to go for a 3 years postdoc after PhD, it is becoming difficult. So you see, typically by the time a person completes PhD, it could be anywhere from 28 to 30 years age. So even if you are completing your PhD by the age of 30, you still have about 3 years which you can utilize for doing the postdoctoral research. And the reason why the upper limit of 35 is generally adhered to is because we would like this young assistant professor to work for next 30 years in the university, contribute to the growth of this university or the college, because the retirement age in central universities is 65 years. So, but imagine you join at the age of 40, 45 or 50 as an assistant professor because you have done several postdocs. You will have very little time to actually work and contribute to the growth of the college, of the university. And this is the reason why generally we adhere to this upper limit of 35 years. Okay, so there is a question in Hindi here. I will try to read this. महोदय नमस्ते, क्या पीएचडी करने के दौरान कोई स्टूडेंट अगर अपना सुपरवाइजर बदलना चाहे तो क्या उसके लिए उसे क्या सुविधा है क्या? I will not read the rest of the part. See, each university has its own rules on changing of the supervisors. Typically, we do not change the supervisor towards the fag end of your PhD program. But if it is happening right in the first year or second year for various reasons, either the supervisor has changed his discipline, or he has retired, or he has moved out, or you didn't like the working with the supervisor, perfectly fine. There could be several reasons. So usually you have a student research monitoring committee, and that committee can make a recommendation. And typically at the school level, you have a board of studies, and then you have the head HOD, and all these people can work together and facilitate this change of supervisor. So UGC doesn't really look into individual cases like that. It's the university or the college which has to look into those kind of situations. But however, if you have a grievance, if you think that certain things are not done in a proper way, you are most welcome to approach UGC. We can then talk to the concerned vice chancellor and see how it can be facilitated. So a kind of startup grant. Soon the scheme will be announced. The application process is online process, and you can apply. And the received proposals will be reviewed by experts. And if you are selected, you will have the startup grant as a young faculty. So this scheme is going to come soon. Right. So let me look at another question. There are some questions related to the fellowship issues. As I said, we are resolving the fellowship issues. So you should not have much problem in the coming months and years. I'm just scanning through the questions that are there on my screen, and I will pick up. So there is a question about the distance education program that I am admitted into, but it is not approved by UGC. However, I have been reassured by my institution that he will get the degree. Could you please be kind enough to confirm if this holds true? Let me request my colleague who is an expert on this, Dr. Avichal Kapoor. Could you please answer this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir, and good evening to all. So the matter pertains to Annamalai University, and this university had been recognized only up to 14-15, and then subsequently we have uploaded a public notice dated 25th March informing the stakeholders. In addition, we have been uploading public notice every year to inform the prospective student to check the websites. And this university has issued some kind of clarification to the learners like this, that they are resolving the issue with UGC. They have gone into court, sir. Matter is right now in the Honorable High Court of Madras, and it is going to be heard in somewhere in the mid-June, sir. This is the...
Right, right. So there is a question, specific question, but this could also be a general question. So that's why I'm taking up this. So there is a student who has cleared JRF and she got admission in a university. She has uploaded the joining report and the JRF award letter, but then no response till now. Kindly help me by providing the beneficiary code. Perhaps Dr. Surinder Singh can answer this.
Yes, sir. The candidate university has uploaded the details in a legacy portal. Unfortunately, I think nodal officer was not well versed, and they have to upload the data in the current legacy portal को avoid करना है, जो current उसका student ID है उसके हिसाब से उसको करना है. So we will be writing to the university and the candidate, and we will do that. Okay. In fact, this is an error inadvertently committed by the university.
So if a nodal officer has committed such an error, will we come to know that such an error has committed?
Sir, we have already, because whatever they have requested for linking, so we have rejected their request, and we have given the reason that why it is been rejected. So nodal officer comes to know that yes, he has done a mistake, and then we have already requested you please upload it like this. So still, if they have the issue, we can personally, they can contact us. We can contact us, and we are resolving the issue like that.
Right, and also, Dr. Surinder Singh is working on this portal. Once our new portal comes, let's say UGC has sent it back to the nodal officer with a clear instruction that this error has been committed, you correct it, and the application is pending at the nodal officer. The student can actually see it on the portal. And if the nodal officer is not clearing and sending it back to UGC, you simply click it on the portal on the nodal officer image, and you can send an email to the nodal officer, and you can inquire why it is getting delayed. So many of such things are going to happen with the scholarship portal. A lot of facilities will be created to you to monitor, to track. So there is a question about dual degree program. I'm currently doing BCom honors from a particular university. Can I do BCA from IGNOU? IGNOU offers distance learning programs. Recently we announced from UGC that students can now do double degrees. I will come to the dual degree a little later. You can do double degrees, meaning that if you are doing a course in a university, a physical course, you are going, attending lectures and so on, but at the same time, you want to do an online degree program. Under the new rules, it is possible. You can do that. And then Soon, we are also going to announce modified online ODL regulations, which will enable a large number of high-quality universities and colleges to offer online degrees in many emerging areas and in conventional disciplines also. So you will have the opportunity to do one physical degree and also do one online degree. Just to give you an example, let's say you are doing BSc Economics, but you are so much in love of mathematics. You want to do a BSc Mathematics, or you want to do something completely different from economics. You want to just do something else. All these possibilities are possible, with the new rule that UGC has announced. And the dual degree program, don't get confused with the double degree program. Recently, UGC has announced a new regulation which permits the students to go for twinning, joint, and dual degree programs. So twinning means if you are doing your undergraduate program, let's say as an example in a university, and if that university has an arrangement with a foreign university, you can go there for a semester or two, and you can do up to 30 credits of your program, 30% of your program credits in that university. So this is called twinning. And if your university has an agreement with a foreign university, you can actually spend a longer duration there, and you can do more than 30% of the credits from that foreign university. But the degree will be given by the Indian university. In the case of the dual degree program, if your university has an agreement with a foreign university, you can go and do the courses more than 30% of the credits required for your program. And now here you will get 2 degrees, 1 degree by your Indian institution and 1 degree by the foreign university where you have taken the credits. So it should not be confused with the double degrees. You're not getting 2 different degrees. You are getting 1 degree, but your Indian university and the foreign university are giving 2 different transcripts or degrees for the same degree. So that's the meaning of the dual degree. We have already announced the regulation, and we'll be hand-holding with many universities and make sure that MOUs will take place between our Indian universities and foreign universities, so that many of our Indian universities will have the opportunity to access high quality foreign education. But this regulation is also useful for foreign students to come and study in Indian universities. It will open the flood gates to our universities. This in any case will not affect our reservation policy or the number of seats that are available to our general students and other reserve category students. Supernumerary seats will be created for such foreign students who will come to Indian institutes through this new regulation. Now, let me look at one more question here. Okay, so there is a question, this is about an undergraduate program in a particular university, in a particular state. So the student is saying that the 3rd year exam of the UG session 2018-21 and the 2nd year exam of the session 2019 and 22 are long overdue. The university is not conducting these examinations. If there is one community which was affected in a very significant way during the Corona period, it is the student community. They have undergone a lot of difficulties. Instead of moving around with your peers, with your friends, you were confined to your houses, and you had to access everything through online, and there were problems of internet and other issues. So students really have undergone very difficult times during those times. And one of the things that happened was the delay in admissions, delay in conducting examinations, and so on. And many universities have more or less recovered now, and they are now coming into the regular academic session mode. But if there are any certain cases where the examinations are still not held, please do write to us through your grievance redressal system. We will talk to the Vice Chancellor and see what is the problem, why there is a delay, and we'll try to expedite the process. Right. So now there is a query here. It says, please provide a contact number for JRF related issues. The numbers currently listed are either always busy or no one picks up the phone. I had even emailed my issue, but I haven't received any response. The problem is regarding the SRF upgradation. I will come to the question of the phone issues. See, when it comes to the upgradation of your scholarship from JRF to SRF, your supervisor, your school or the department and your university also plays a role in processing the papers. And once those papers are submitted, sometimes there could be errors, then UGC will ask to rectify those things and so on. So several such things, so delays can happen because of that. We are trying to make everything online so that the paperwork is minimized. And with regard to the numbers that are very busy, as Dr. Sunita Sivach has mentioned, we are trying to bring one integrated system here, and we will try to improve the system so that every call is picked up, every email is answered to. So let me ask Dr. Surinder Singh. This is a student who has emailed his issue, but he has not yet received any response. Could you please respond to that?
Yes, sir. My request to the student is, because we have already given a public grievance portal within the scholarship scholarship management portal, जो हमारा Canara Bank का है, and if student gives their grievance, so directly it can reach to us and we are resolving this. And as far as the phone numbers are concerned, we are to our best. Sometimes we are not available on our seat. We are busy here and there. So, but mostly as and when we are there, we are picking up and trying to resolve the issue.
Right. There is a question here which says that the student has completed the program in 2020, but the university is not even giving the provisional certificate. So the student has a grievance here. One way, of course, is you please send it through our grievance redressal system, and we will try to address this. But to these kind of grievances where the student is not getting the refund or the student is not getting the provisional certificate, if there are any such related issues, Dr. Surinder Singh, how do you think we can handle that?
Sir, as you mentioned that we are coming with a central portal for public grievances and all that, and through that these things can be managed, because to whomsoever such kind of grievances are related, they can be escalated to the concerned officer, so that the officer can timely intervene and take the appropriate actions. It's because presently they are coming from multiple sources and in a multiple fashion. So things are there are some time issues these days.
Right. So there is a question about internship. Please have one portal for internship offered by the companies in different subjects within the stipulated time. Recently we have put up the guidelines for the internship. This is compulsory in the 4-year undergraduate program. And UGC will also be developing a portal where students can register, and people who have the internships can also register, so that seamlessly you can find internships in various disciplines. And AICTE already has an internship portal. That, of course, is mostly for technical subjects, although any student is eligible to apply there. But UGC will definitely come up with an integrated portal. With regard to the internship, to all those students who are watching this program, I would like to say is that internship is a great experience for you to connect what you study in your classroom to the real life world. Internship will open up your eyes to how the real world works. When you study something in the textbook, you're studying something about an ideal situation. But believe me, outside the classroom, you're dealing with non-ideal world. And internship will provide you the opportunity to see how things are worked out, how solutions are found on the ground. You will also meet people with different levels of experience, different levels of skills. By just talking to them, asking questions, you can gain a lot of knowledge. It will also provide you an opportunity to be part of teams, how you need to adjust yourself to the various kinds of people who are working in the team. So internship is a very, very valuable experience for you. And it is also not necessary that, let's say you are an engineering student. It's not necessary that you have to go to an industry and take your internship. You can as well go to, for example, a hospital and see how patients are treated, how the systems work there. So many things you can learn, because national education policy emphasizes on holistic approach, multidisciplinary approach. So therefore, if you are a medical student, try to go and work as an intern in a company which is producing, let's say, medical devices. Or you go to a public health center and see how things are handled there. So you need to take internship outside your own domain so that you get a holistic idea of how things are handled in real world. As I said, the internship portal will be available for all of you to use soon. Right. This is a very common query that many people ask me when I move around in different places. There is always a confusion for higher technical educational institutions regarding basic qualifications required for faculty recruitment and so on between UGC and AICTE rules. I do agree with you. It is not just UGC and AICTE. There are multiple regulatory authorities in higher education. And this is definitely creating confusion in the minds of the stakeholders. And that's the reason why our national education policy has advocated the formation of the Higher Education Commission of India. As part of that, as many disciplines as possible will be brought under one umbrella so that the stakeholders do not have to run from one regulator to another regulator because there are overlapping responsibilities for the regulators. There is also duplicating responsibilities, activities that take place. So all this confusion and all this unnecessary additional work that the stakeholders have to do will all be minimized once the Higher Education Commission of India is established. And we are all working on it. Ultimately, it will go to the Parliament, and there is a process. And once the HECI bill goes through this process, then it will be announced by the government of India. There is a question. Thank you so much for allowing us to raise queries in this SAMVAD program. I have a few major queries. I will read out one. And this is about if a teacher or assistant professor is eligible to supervise research candidates or scholars, then why the university won't allow college assistant professors to supervise PhD candidates? Let me ask Dr. Gopakumar to answer this. What are the eligibility conditions for a college teacher to become supervisor? And if she fulfills these eligibility conditions to become a supervisor, if a university doesn't permit the assistant professor in the college to supervise PhD student? What is the way out? So Dr. Gopakumar.
Thank you, sir. Sir, as per the 2016 regulations, a college, first of all, the department needs to be recognized by the university as a research center. Then the teacher has to fulfill the basic requirements like the assistant professor should have completed a PhD. Then he or she should have published 2 research papers to become a supervisor. These are the basic eligibility criteria.
Right. So, but even though the assistant professor fulfills these requirements and he applies to become a supervisor, if the university doesn't permit, what is the way out?
Sir, we may not be able to ascertain the reasons, but if they bring it to our notice, then we can try to solve it, sir. Right. Because the reasons on which the university is not permitting the candidate to become a supervisor, first we have to be. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. There is another question. Insist on all the technical institutions to follow AICTE model curriculum and change title to prescribed curriculum. You know, whether it is AICTE or UGC, we have certain curriculum framework, we have certain credit system, we have certain nomenclature for degrees, and it is binding on all universities and colleges to follow this. And if there are any violations, if any university is giving a degree with a nomenclature that is not recognized by UGC and so on, please do inform us. We will look into that. I just received some questions in my WhatsApp message through one of my officers. How do we interface university engineering college to a private engineering college to implement the NEP multiple exit, multiple entry program? You know, multiple entry and multiple exit program is one of the important reforms of NEP to enable the students. Let's say you have decided at the end of second year of your program, you want to take off, you want to do something else, and then you want to come back. The university should permit you to come back and then continue your program. And within a university, let's say you are in a program and there is a related program and you want to transfer from this program to another program, provided you have fulfilled the conditions for admission in the other program, the university should be able to use the credits that you have earned and then permit you to go to the other program within the university. Now, your question is, what if I want to go from one institution to another institution using multiple exit, multiple entry scheme? In this case, both these institutes should have an MOU between them. If once they have an MOU between them, then you should be able to move from one institute to the other institute. And each institute is autonomous. They should decide on the modalities of how this multiple entry, multiple exit can be allowed. For example, let's say there are vacancies in a program in Institute B. And from Institute A, a student wants to go after second year. He wants to go and join in the third year in Institute B. And in Institute B, in that particular discipline, there are some vacancies, then they will be able to take you. Or some other university may decide that, well, we don't have vacancies, but we will create some supernumerary positions for this multiple help these students. The CAS rules, Career Advancement Scheme rules, must be reviewed to remove ambiguities. I completely agree with you. And that's the reason why UGC established a company. It formed a company to look into all the anomalies of counting the past experience and so on. There are several issues. UGC is very seriously looking into it. We have received the recommendations of the anomalous committee. We will soon look into it and implement many of those recommendations, so that many of my colleagues who may be watching this program, whose promotions could not have been completed because of some issues related to CAS, I think all of you will get a relief once we announce these recommendations of the anomalies committee. There is a question which says that UGC must establish IPR and skill development centers in all universities for improving the employability and enrollment. I agree with you on the second part. Yes, every university should have IPR and skill development center. But the first part, UGC should establish. You see, UGC will provide the required rules and regulations. UGC will provide the guidelines for establishing IPR cells and skill centers. And universities, being autonomous organizations on their own, based on these guidelines that UGC gives, they should establish the IPR cells and the skill development centers. There are several ways in which you can do. For example, if you are located in an area where there are a lot of industries in a particular discipline, let's say there are some automobile industries in your area, the university can collaborate with those automobile industries and establish a skill center in the university, so that as part of their degree program, the students can undergo training in this skill center. And this training is very relevant to the industries which are located around that university. And in fact, the university can talk to those industries. There are many experienced people in those industries. They can join with a faculty member inside the university and offer some specialized courses which are very, very relevant to the industry needs. And unless this kind of hand-holding takes place, we will not be able to have good academia and industry interaction. And the heads of the institutes and the faculty members need to take a lead here, visit the local industries, talk to them, identify the experts who are there, invite them to come and give lectures, invite them to establish skill centers in your university. So there is a lot that needs to be done. There is a lot that can be done by the university. Don't always look for UGC to micromanage things in your university. UGC can give you broad guidelines, but micromanagement using your autonomous status, you should do that. Why do you want to give away your autonomy on a platter to somebody else? Use your autonomy and do many interesting things in your university. For this, MOOC courses, who is handling?
Gopu Kumarji, sir.
Sir,
Dr. Gopu.
Yeah, sir, I was earlier handling, sir. For SWAYAM, colleges need to take the NOC from the university, because the UGC will be funding such projects. So this is the natural route for receiving application through the UGC university, sir.
No, the question is that if there is an outstanding college and there are some outstanding faculty members in that college, they want to give a proposal for MOOC course. The question is, why not we handle those courses directly without going through the university?
Sir, here I would like to reply to this question, sir. Sir, generally all the MOOCs courses which are allotted to the faculty members for development purposes, they are provided with funds. And generally for these funds, we allocate any university to keep an account. So therefore the funds, since funds are routed through the university, therefore faculty members are expected to apply through a university, sir.
Right, but we will look into it. We will look into it, because obviously this question has come because either the applications are not forwarded by the university, although the faculty members are willing to create these MOOC courses, or there are delays, we will definitely look into it and see what can be done. I request Dr. Gopakumar, please, to make a note of this and see how we can answer this. Who is handling the HRDC?
I'm
Dr.
handling
Archana
it.
Thakur. Dr. Archana Thakur, there is one question for you.
Right, sir.
Why UGC? No, there must be clear-cut guidelines regarding orientation courses when teachers are on ad hoc post, and during ad hoc posting, if they complete the orientation program, universities must consider that orientation course for API calculations when they become, regular faculty. So this is a question.
Sir, I would like to state a very good question, sir. In this light, I would like to state that orientation program is now taken as faculty induction program, which is called Guru Dakshata. And then in group of secretaries meet, we had decided that newly recruited faculty who join the university need some kind of training. And the training should be all-round development of the teachers, because, they come from a master's degree and they step into a college system where they have to handle the classroom, the students, the environment of the university. So we have brought out a very well designed 10-module course of Guru Dakshata, which covers university administration, curriculum design, about the environment, about the e-learning, about the academic integrity and research ethics and sustainable development goals. So all the package is subsumed into one Guru Dakshata program, wherein we conduct this orientation program for the newly recruited faculty, and the faculty one who undergoes the orientation program is eligible, and he attains the API score for the next promotion, which is eligible.
Restriction of paper publications by a faculty member in a year, because this way teachers can focus on teaching, learning process rather than on publications. This is an interesting question. You see, even if you are interested more in teaching, reading research papers, what is happening currently, and doing your own research will actually improve your own teaching skills, because you can bring not just only the bookish knowledge into the classroom, but also some of the recent developments that are taking place in your own discipline. And it is one thing to read somebody else's paper, and it is another thing to create knowledge on your own, and that increases your confidence level in your own discipline. And you're also respected in that discipline for the contributions that you make. So therefore, for all teachers, I would definitely recommend that you should spare some of your time for research and publish that research in good quality journals, because teaching, research, they're complementary. They help each other, right? And in terms of putting a limit on how many papers a teacher has to publish, well, it's something that you have to decide yourself. If you are more interested in teaching, maybe you publish less papers. But if you want to publish more papers, in any case, that should not be done at the cost of your own teaching, right? So you need to work out a balance between these two and carry out your professional career growth. It's very difficult to tell that, this is how you should do. As a faculty member, you need to decide how you manage your time and how you would like to contribute as a teacher and researcher. Right, let me just look at one more question, and with that, I would like to conclude here. I hope that my team has sent all the questions that have appeared in Twitter and other places. I'm just looking at, there is one question that one gentleman has asked, that what about corruption in education? Well, if there are any such issues that you have come across, please do report to us. We will definitely take appropriate action if it is brought to our notice. And we would like to assure you that we will maintain the confidentiality of anyone who raises questions here. We will not disclose your names during these conversations, so you can feel free to ask your questions. We have spent almost more than an hour or so, 1 hour. Those who have missed out this interaction, you can always watch this question answer session, and we will meet again after 2 months or so. We will meet again and we will listen to you. So before I close, I would like to request if any of my colleagues would like to say anything to our stakeholders who are watching this program. You can unmute and please be brief, and please convey if you would like to say something.
Namaskar, sir. I'm FA Financial Advisor P.K. Thakur. I think it's a great beginning for all the stakeholders of UGC and will go a long way in contributing to the educational fraternity of higher education of India. Thank you, sir, in particular, and thank you all the stakeholders for participating in a big way. And we expect much more participation in the coming series.
Dr. Archana Thakur.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It had never been before, at least since the time I am in UGC, that we had online interaction in such a big way. And it's really a pleasure. Thank you so much, sir, that you have taken this initiative, that, we have been coming live to our stakeholders. And we are here for the people, by the people. And, we have to do the work for the stakeholders only. So, I assure that we are committed to you, and if there is any shortfalls or shortcomings on our side, please suggest our shortcomings, and we'll really try to overcome them. And I thank all my officers, including Chairman sir and everybody, all my seniors and all the colleagues who are over here, that it was an overwhelming interaction, and we expect more and more from all of you, and you are free to ask any questions, any suggestions, and we welcome you all. So thank you so much, all of you, for being here, and thank you, Chairman sir, so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Manoj Kumar, you would like to say something?
Yes, yes, sir. Namaskar, sir, and namaskar to all the officers. And I'm so glad that UGC head office under your chairmanship has taken this great initiative of interacting with the stakeholders. And we also have come to know that these are the kind of issues that are being addressed to the UGC by the stakeholders, sir. And on behalf of the regional officers and on behalf of the chairman UGC, I would like to also tell all the stakeholders that we have 6 regional offices across the country, and we are also here welcoming all kinds of grievances and feedbacks and anything which the people here nearby can approach us also. And we would extend all possible grievance redressals to them, which is possible at our levels. And those levels which need an escalation, we will take up to the head office. And we're all geared up to meet the new challenges which higher education is facing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Chauhan.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. And I'm really very happy that several types of very good questions has been asked by the stakeholders. And I'm happy that under your dynamic leadership, you have taken all the issues with the help of our learned colleagues very nicely. Diverse types of questions has been asked, and especially for the students who are coming from the different backgrounds, especially for their fellowship teachings, as well as other policy issue. And it is first time in the University Grants Commission that you are interacting with the stakeholders. So it is a very good initiative taken by you, sir. We feel proud on your leadership, as well as I'm thankful to our respected secretary, sir, respected FSAP, and all my colleagues that we are with you, always with you, sir. Thank you, sir. So nice. Thank you, sir.
To all those who are watching, you can see that all my colleagues are geared up to receive any kind of feedback, grievances from our stakeholders. And within a reasonable time, we will try to resolve those issues. And within UGC itself, all my colleagues have now shifted to e-office now. All the file movement happens through e-office in a shortest possible time. And we are also weeding out all the old files which have been there for years and years in the UGC office. We are becoming now completely a digital office, which will further improve the efficiency of operations in UGC. So let me request our, yes, Dr. Gopi Chand, would you like to say anything?
Sir, good evening, and really a great initiative, sir, which exactly represents a real democracy and meeting the stakeholders and finding grievances and problems and resolving them as possible. And it definitely helps a lot, sir, for both stakeholders as well as officers of the UGC and other education institutes. So it is a great initiative, sir. We are very grateful to.
There is an internet problem from your side.
Yes,
right. So let me move to Professor Rajneesh Jain, who is Secretary to UGC, and with his comments, we will conclude today's program. Right.
Sir, it was a great session indeed. I thank Chairman UGC, Professor Jagdish Kumar, for taking this initiative. This is the first ever initiative to go live and connect with all the stakeholders regarding various issues which they feel they are currently facing. And we have come up with very candid reply from our side. And it reflects that what kind of efforts have been taken up at UGC level to look into the issues which are faced. And we continue to serve higher education. So on behalf of University Grants Commission, I thank all the stakeholders, all the students, faculty members, other administrators, or anyone who has been here in this session, which was live on various platforms, Twitter, YouTube, and other platforms. And they have shared their issues, their queries with us. We have tried to respond. And those which have not been responded, they have also been recorded and will be responded in some or the other manner. And we look forward to your continued support, and we'll keep on connecting with you very often. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.